What's up, guys? We got some Ducks. We got some old men retiring today. Yair Rodriguez has been called out by Diego Lopez. Now, this is the fight we all want to see. This is the fight the fans want to see. This is the fight that literally everyone wants to see but the UFC and Yair Rodriguez. Now, actually, I take that part back because seemingly the UFC may consider doing this fight because Diego Lopez claims Yair Rodriguez turned down a fight against him for UFC Noche in September. He said on Instagram, "Hey Yair Rodriguez, I just found out you got a call from Hunter denying the fight with me at Noche UFC. Where's the guy who was in front of me at the press conference?" Right? He probably speaks better English than me at this point. So, Yair Rodriguez has apparently turned down the fight for UFC Noche. Like, we've known that he doesn't want to fight Diego. It's very clear that he does not want to fight Diego Lopez. And Diego Lopez, he's pushing for this. Of course he is. He has beef with the guy. Stylistically, it's just favorable. I'd pick him to win for sure, which is why Yair does not want to take it because he probably gets his ass beat by his enemy. It's just not really, I just don't understand this. But it's interesting because the fact that they've even reached out to him to offer him this fight, he turned it down apparently, which he kind of confirms. We're going to get to his response to this. It tells me they might not be doing Volk versus Yair. It tells me they're really not doing Volk versus Yair if they're offering him Diego. And what's interesting is something came out recently that, and this was according to Ali Abdelaziz and Movsar Evloev, they've not gotten the contracts yet for the fight against Aaron Pico. I read that on Twitter like this morning. So they haven't received the contracts yet for the Aaron Pico fight. That's very interesting because that fight is in a month. If it's going to happen in Saudi Arabia or Abu Dhabi, same shit. That fight is supposed to be in a month. So if they haven't received the contracts, I do think it's kind of a blessing in disguise that it's the Mexico card is not happening. Or excuse me, the Noche card is not happening in Mexico because really, the number one reason they were going to do Yair versus Volk was just because of the fact that it was going to be in Mexico. That 320 was going to be in Mexico. Now, if it's not going to be in Mexico, if it's just a fight night in Texas, presumably the earliest Volk could fight is October. You know, I could even see a JDM versus Islam co-main event, Volk versus whoever card. And now they're probably looking at it like, all right, well, we don't need to do Volk versus Yair. The fans don't really want it. We're only in early discussions anyways. You know, they haven't sent the contract to Movsar for the Aaron Pico fight or whoever he's going to fight in July. You know, and it makes more sense to do a Russian versus an Australian as the co-main event of a Russian versus Australian with JDM versus Makhachev, of course. So I do think that this fight may not happen. I do think us complaining has also helped. So maybe the fans, maybe we do still have some power left because this is very interesting. But of course, Yair turned it down. You know, I think he didn't he turn down a fight against Zabit. You know, I know everyone says, "Oh, Zabit," you know, everyone makes fun of Zabit, but like Yair didn't want to fight him, which is why I don't understand why they're giving him a title shot. It's not like he's helped out the UFC and he stepped up on short notice. Diego getting a title shot makes sense. He's always active, always stepped up, always fought whoever they put in front of him, is a star, always gets KOs. It makes sense. Never has a boring fight in his life. Evloev, I kind of understand why they've passed him up in the past. You know, I understand why they gave it to Diego before Evloev, but now it's Evloev's turn. It's not Yair's turn. It's not. If Pitbull would have beat Yair, it wouldn't have been his turn either. It's Evloev's turn. And I think hopefully they're opening their brain. They're coming to their senses finally. And they're going to book Evloev versus Volk. I really hope so. Because I don't even like Evloev. I don't really care for him as a fighter. But I think that's the fight. And that fight does excite me. That fight would get me nervous and giddy. And I'd be excited to do videos on and talk about it and see the different predictions. You know damn well fucking Okoye and Joey are going to pick Evloev, by the way. I'm just saying. You know that side is going to pick Evloev. But nonetheless, I'd be very excited for the buildup of that. I mean, Well, the buildup would be pretty boring because one guy like barely speaks English and the other guy like is Volk, who's like, I love Volk, but his personality is not crazy. But nonetheless, that's the fight. That fight really excites me. So I don't know. I don't know what's gonna happen. If he just got a call from Hunter and he turned down the Noche fight, then Yair's a duck. Of course, Yair's a freaking duck, and he responds wrong, wrong image. We're gonna get to that last. Justin Gaethje may retire, but we're gonna discuss Yair's response to this because it's just a typical response that you would expect from him. So, yeah, and it's in Spanish, but there's captions, so bear with Yair, I guess.
Por ahí vi que el culón de Diego López anda diciendo que no quiero pelear con él. Y no, para nada es el caso. La verdad estoy un poquito decepcionado del UFC por el hecho de que me hayan ofrecido pelear con él, porque sí me ofrecieron una pelea hace poco.
So this is true. So this isn't just a rumor. Like, this isn't like, oh, Diego's just chatting. This is seemingly true. And I would have believed Diego anyways, even if Yair would have not put a response out. But this is seemingly true, which is very, very exciting and interesting. It's exciting because it really tells me they're not doing Volk versus Yair now. And Yair's like, oh, I'm disappointed that they would even offer me this. Oh, man, I love it. I really hope the UFC is going to make a big turnaround at the second half of this year.
Porque vámonos un poquito más para atrás. ¿Qué pasó? Cuando yo tuve la oportunidad de pelear con Diego, dijo que no porque yo venía de perder. Ahora que él viene de perder, quiere pelear conmigo. Eso es lo que a mí no se me hace como coherente. Esa es una de las cosas. Otra de las cosas es que, obviamente, yo no tengo ningún pedo de pelear con él. Si me preguntan, yo prefiero pelearme con él.
I have no desire to fight him, and watch what he's going to say. I prefer to fight him in the effing street. Yeah, you have no desire to fight the guy that you have real beef with. Why would you not want to fight the guy you have beef with? And if you beat him, you can then get a title shot. You're on a one-fight winning streak, bro. Excuse me. Like, it's just crazy to me. I don't want to fight him, though, even though he's my rival. And it's not even like a nightmare matchup for Yair. Like, he could still win it. It's not like a complete nightmare matchup. Like, there's no way Yair wins this. It's pretty winnable for him, to be honest with you. I'm picking Diego, of course, if it does happen. It's seemingly never going to fucking happen, though, because one party just doesn't want the fight. The UFC wants it. Diego wants it now. Again, this is good news, though. This is good news because this tells me they're probably doing Movsar versus Volk. So.
Con él dentro de la compañía no hace nada, no me van a pagar más. No hace absolutamente nada. No.
It does nothing for him. How does it do nothing for you? Again, it's a guy you have legit beef with, and it's a top contender. It does a lot for you, Yair, if you were to excuse me, jeez. If you were to beat him. Sorry, my voice is kind of fucked today for some reason, but it does a lot for you, Yair, if you were to beat him. I don't understand how you can say it does nothing for me. What is this mindset, man? I feel like we never saw this in the past from fighters, where it's just like, it's just this mindset of like, I would rather not fight him. You're a fighter. Your job is to fight. Fight him. It does nothing for me if I fought Diego. You have beef with the guy, apparently. How would it do nothing for you to fight someone you have beef with? That doesn't make sense to me.
Porque viene de perder. Y pues la verdad sigo lesionado de la última pelea.
He's injured now. Dude, he's not getting the title shot. You guys should celebrate now. Get ready to put your Movsar versus Volk predictions out now. He's not getting the title shot. Now he's saying he's injured. He also says it does nothing for him to fight Yair, or excuse me, to fight Diego. The UFC are not going to be happy with him turning down that fight. He's not getting the next title shot. So let's celebrate now. I'm very happy. Shout out to the UFC for this. He's injured? Like, bro. So we would have had to have endured an injured Yair Rodriguez versus Volk? Really? Oh, my God. And then if he would have lost, it would have been like, oh, my pinky hurts from the Patricio Pitbull fight.
Entonces, antes que cualquier cosa, Yo creo que es primero ver en dónde estoy con eso. Fui a ver a un doctor. Eh, Él recomendó.
Oh, I love this man. Now he's going to get surgery. All of a sudden, now you're going to get surgery. Just because you may not get the title shot. Brother, they're going to give it to Evloev. They're not going to sit around and wait. Oh, Yair needs surgery. A guy who's already always inactive, now he needs surgery. And he's turning down Diego. He's not getting the next title shot. He's just not. What an idiot.
Cirugía. Obviamente estoy evitando al máximo que ese sea el caso. Pero bueno, vamos a ver a dónde me lleva toda esta posición, esta situación. Nada más quería salir a aclarar mi posición. Yo no he negado la pelea. Al contrario, estaría muy feliz de pelear en contra de este pinche batito de mierda.
Wait, now he's saying he's not denied it? This video, you just said it does nothing for... Am I retarded? Did he not just say earlier in this video it does nothing for him to fight Diego? He'd rather fight him in the street.
Y su pinche equipo, que todos aquí se sientan. Y
what is wrong with this guy?
Pues nada más eso, ¿no? Que entiendan mi posición. Porque obviamente ya empiezan a salir ahí a atacar y... Bueno, pues como siempre, ¿no? Atacar cuando alguien está abajo, cuando alguien está lastimado es bien fácil, ¿verdad? Pero bueno. Pues
bro, so now he...
Ahí les dejé la cosa. Voy a ver
this
primero qué onda
freaking yap faster,
con
please.
mi salud. Voy a ver si puedo evitar la cirugía al máximo. Si no, pues voy a tener que
My bad.
hacerlo.
Yep, so now all of a sudden, now he needs... So he just contradicted himself in the same video. He says, yeah, fighting him does really nothing for me. And, you know, I'm coming off of a win, blah, blah, blah. I'd rather fight him in the street. Then towards the end of the video, he says, actually, I've not turned it down. I just have to get surgery. I don't understand how this guy has fans. I'm not a fan of his. I don't even think he does have fans, to be honest. I just don't understand how Yair Rodriguez is still in the promotion. Does he have dirt on Dana? I don't know. I just don't understand how the UFC have given him so many chances to just be an ass clown, really. And yeah, I don't know. He's just gonna spam Coulon, I guess, until he gets that surgery. Again, all of a sudden you're injured. All of a sudden, when they offer you a different fight, you were crying about, bro, you were ready. When they were gonna give you a title shot, you were ready for that. Now they're like, actually, we're not giving you a title shot. Here's Diego Lopez at Noche. Actually, I might need surgery. Stupid, man. Just fight Diego. That's the fight we want to see, and that's such a draw of a fight too. It's legitimately a big fight. You could put that on the... I mean, maybe I wouldn't put it on like the co-main event of maybe like a feature fight. I wouldn't put that as the co-main event. Maybe though, if it's a weak pay-per-view, that could be a co-main event of a pay-per-view. If it's a weak pay-per-view. Still, though, man, that's the fight we want to see. But this is good news because this tells me that they are not considering Yair versus Volk anymore. Now they're looking at other options. And I think Volk Evloev is what they're going to do. Now, where does that leave poor Aaron Pico? I'm not sure. But to be honest with you, that Abu Dhabi card does not need that Movsar Pico fight. That card already has so many fighters on it. It's already stacked with Peter Yan, Marcus McGee, Shara Bullett's back. What's the main event of that card? RDR versus, what's his name? Robert Whittaker. He lost so much that I forget his name. No, I'm kidding. I like Robert Whittaker. But seriously, though, that card is so stacked next month that we don't need freaking Movsar Evloev on there. So I'm glad that they're seemingly axing that Yair Volk BS. And now they're probably going to do Evloev versus Volk. But let's get on to this. I thought this was pretty hilarious, right? So this is according to Ali Abdelaziz. He's somehow he's still people still talking about this Ali Abdelaziz guy, eh? Per Ali Abdelaziz, Justin Gaethje could retire from MMA if he does not get the next shot for the lightweight belt. So of course, he's the manager of Justin Gaethje, by the way. He said, if I'm not going to fight for the title, I'm just going to hang up my gloves. I love the UFC, but I feel the UFC has to love me back. So it's kind of hilarious that he says this when he's been given 2 title shots in his entire career. He's been given He's been given 2 title shots. He's been given a BMF title shot, right? Who cares about that? But still, it's something. He's been given a lot of favorable matchups as well. And he's crying now. And I know there was a quote like a couple of weeks ago from John Anik, I want to say, where he was golfing with Justin Gaethje. And apparently Justin Gaethje was furious that he wasn't getting the next title shot. That's what Anik said. And I believe it. And now he's saying he's going to retire if he doesn't get the next shot. This is retarded. This is just ridiculous. Like, again, what is this era of fighters? Even Gaethje, you would think Gaethje would be the opposite. He'd be like, he's from the old school. Hell no, I'll fight whoever they put in front of me. But I get it. He's 35, 36, 37 probably. He's old. But it's just like, I think they are going to give him the next title shot. Funny enough, even before this quote came out, like I always thought, I think Ilya's going to beat Charles. Even if Charles does win, hopefully not. It's not going to happen. But if somehow in a magical world Charles beats Ilya, again, I will literally retire if that happens. But they could just consider doing Charles versus Gaethje too. That's a pretty decent fight. It's a good fight. If Ilya wins, which he is, Ilya versus Gaethje, I mean, that's a pretty big pay-per-view main event. To be fair, like, he doesn't deserve a title shot, but to be fair, that is a big fight. But, of course, Arman should get the next title shot. Forget about Gaethje. Forget about... Even Charles should have not got this title shot, to be honest with you. It should have been Arman. But I understand Arman is not really making it easy for himself right now, and he's in a bad position. I don't know. Because then if Gaethje does get the next shot, where does that leave Pimblett? I would like a Pimblett versus an Arman. Winner gets the guaranteed title shot. I then would kind of prefer Gaethje versus Pimblett, though. But I would prefer Pimblett versus Arman, to be honest with you. Because it might not be as fun of a fight, and it might not be as big of a fight, but it will give me a better idea of where Pimblett really is at. Because if he beats Gaethje, it's like, all right, your last wins are Ferguson, Chandler, and Gaethje. It's just like, I want to see him beat like an Arman Sarukian. So it's kind of, I would like to see that. Gaethje could get the next title shot. It would not shock me. If Ilya, let's say Ilya makes clean work of Charles, you do Gaethje versus Ilya in December, I could see that. January maybe. So, I don't know. I think this is kind of ridiculous, though. He's been given so many favorable matchups. He's been treated very well by the UFC. They gave him the Khabib fight. He lost. Shortly after, they gave him the Charles fight. He lost. Got finished in both fights, by the way. Then he went on a little winning streak. Beat Poirier, beat Fiziev, lost to Holloway. Then he beat Fiziev again on short notice. And now he's asking for a title shot, and he's saying, if I don't get it, I'm retiring. It's just... I don't get it. I don't understand the entitlement. I would not even mind like a Justin Gaethje versus an Arman. I like that fight a lot as well. But it's just there's too many. I don't know, man. Lightweight has really become one of my least favorite divisions now. It's definitely not like up there with like heavyweight and light heavyweight, because those divisions are just so hollow and boring and not stacked. But still, lightweight is like, it's just so many drama queens and egos, and Patty doesn't want to fight Arman, and Arman doesn't want to fight Gamrot, and Gamrot doesn't want to fight whoever, and whoever doesn't want to. It's just too many freaking. Now Gaethje doesn't want to fight someone. He wants a title shot. And then Charles wanted a title shot. And Ilya's going to sit out and get a title shot. And Islam doesn't want to fight Ilya, so we missed out on that fight. It's just... And Patty doesn't want to fight Arman. And it's just so many fucking egos and just crybabies in this division. It's so annoying, bro. Welterweight's better. At this point, middleweight might be better. Honestly, at this point, middleweight's probably better. Welterweight's better for sure. Bantamweight, bantamweight's not better. Flyweight's getting there for me, man. Joshua Van, Moreno, Royval, Manel Cap, Pantoja's awesome. I wish he was more active, but he's still pretty great. Featherweight's up there as well. So lightweight's really slipping down for me. And it's because of the fighters, honestly. It's like, how can they make good matchups when you have guys, oh, I'm going to sit out. If I'm not getting the title shot, I'm retiring. He's threatening to retire if he doesn't get a title shot. And he probably will. He's a millionaire. He doesn't need to fight anymore. This is insane. This is insane. And I don't want him to retire. I like Gaethje, and I want to see Gaethje versus Ilia Topuria, or Gaethje versus Arman, or Gaethje versus Paddy. I want to see these fights. These fights excite me, but you can't just threaten to retire when the UFC have already given you so many chances at a title and you fumbled all of them. Sorry, Gaethje, but you have. You know, you got subbed by fucking Khabib. You got subbed by Charles. Now, if you were to fight an Ilia, I mean, I think Ilia probably KOs him and or subs him. He KOs him and subs him at the same time. Let's be honest. So he doesn't. The problem with Gaethje is that, I mean, he has a puncher's chance, right? He's one of the best knockout artists. You know, he has some of the best power we've ever seen at lightweight, right? But it's just like, does Gaethje beat an Arman Tsarukyan? Does he beat a Paddy? Does he beat an Ilia? Does he beat a Charles in a rematch? No. So it's just lightweight, sadly, for Justin Gaethje. He's a bit murderer's row. So maybe he should just retire. Honestly, maybe he should just retire instead of trying to embarrass himself. And I don't know. I don't know what's going on anymore. It is from Ali Abdelaziz, I guess. So take it with a grain of salt. But he is the manager of Gaethje. So I'm inclined to believe him. But that's about it. That's all the MMA news I got for you guys today. Yair's a duck. But this is good news because it means we are not getting Volk versus Yair. Whoo, let's fucking go. We might be getting Evloev versus Volk, boys. And yeah, Yair's a duck. He contradicted himself in this entire video. He's just a clown. And Justin Gaethje's a bit of a clown too. I mean, bro, the UFC, you can't say, I'm just going to hang up my gloves. I love the UFC, but I feel the UFC has to love me back. They have. They've shown you so much freaking. They gave you Dan Hooker. Oh, you got flatlined by Holloway? Here's Dan Hooker, who's a very stylistically favorable matchup. They've never booked you against a name like an Arman. They've never booked you against a name like a Gamrot. They've never booked you against some crazy heavy grappler or jiu-jitsu guy. They've always given you good matchups. Poirier, Holloway, all strikers pretty much for his last couple of fights. But now he's going to cry because he's Chandler he got. But now he's going to cry because he's not going to get a title shot over more deserving contenders. It's ridiculous. That's all I got for you guys today. Make sure you guys like and sub. Become a member in the description. Follow me on Twitter. Follow me on Instagram at BXGMMA. That's it. Thank you guys. Appreciate you guys for watching. Peace.